Welcome to the first video in the new shop. Today we're going to talk about setting up rim brake pads. Pretty simple operation. Contrary to popular rumors, rim brakes are far from dead, so this is something that a lot of people are going to have to do for a while. A couple of things you need in order to do this right. Generally, you're going to need a 5, 4, and 2.5 millimeter hex brake pads. These are carbon brake pads with stop black prints. Same technique for carbon and aluminum rims. You need some sandpaper. This is like 120 grit. You need an index card or business card. This is an index card that I folded over in half. You need some alcohol, and you need a shop towel or a rag or something. Step 1, this is a brand new pad, so you really don't need to do this, but if you're doing an older set of pads that have been used, is just scrape them off. If you notice, after you've done a bunch of hard stops, your pads will have a very shiny glazed look on them. You want to get rid of that. And then once you've done that, just take your alcohol and your rag and get all the goop out of there. If you've got carbon pads, make sure that the little grooves are clean. That does a bunch of nice stuff for you, but it promotes airflow, which keeps the rim cool, so that's a good thing. All right, so next we're going to go set up the bike. So the goal of the whole setup is to have the pads hit the rim at exactly the same moment, and for the pads to hit the brake track with maximum contact, not hitting the rim at all, below the brake track, and definitely not hitting the tire. If you try to brake on your tire, it's not going to work very well. My brakes are SRAM Force, similar enough to every other brake that you're going to use. So little tip here is to first of all make sure that your wheel is sitting evenly in the dropouts. So you can just open up the quick release, press down hard, make sure it's centered, close back the quick release. Because obviously if your wheel is sitting catawampus in the dropouts, then that's going to screw everything up. So as you can see here, or maybe not, my left side brake, camera right, is hitting the rim a little bit before the other side is, so we're going to take a second and fix that real quick. The back wheel and the front wheel are similar enough in how you do this. The brakes have a threaded stud on them, and then goes into the back to a female nut, which is inside that little hollow at the top of the brake crown. So we're going to loosen that up just a little bit, smash down on the brakes, get the pad centered on the rim, and then retighten the fixing bolt. This is a 5 millimeter. So I've got it loosened up. Smash down. I got a really good hard pull here with my brake hand. And now the pads hit at the same time. So you can see as I pull the lever here, the brake hits right in the center of the brake track, and you can even tell from the wear or the grunge mark on the brake track itself that the pad is hitting dead center on the brake track, and that's exactly how you want it to go. So here we're going to do what's called towing in the brake pads, and what that means is simply that the front of the pad is going to hit the rim first, towed in, as opposed to towed out where the rear of the pad would hit the rim first. If it's dead flat, that's the maximum contact that you can do right away. But if it's dead flat or towed out a little bit, what can happen is you get a lot of brake squeal. So to minimize brake squeal, neutralize it even in most cases, we do a very slight toe in. And that's where our index card or business card comes in handy. We use this as a gauge. This is folded over. This is about 4/10 of a millimeter, which is an appropriate distance to do that. It's actually a little less than that. And this is going to take all of my hands here. But what I'm going to do is shove this sucker between the back of the pad and the rim itself. And then I'm going to squeeze the brake and loosen the pad fixing bolt. And just doing that while keeping things squeezed will set the alignment. And then I'm going to retighten the bolt, but I'm not going to do it so tight that it spins the brake pad. If you really honk down on it, it's going to spin the brake pad. So what I'll do is I will let the brakes go, pull my little index card out, and then simply get a finger underneath here and give a little more tug. And now maybe you can see it if I zoom in a little bit here. So the front of the pad makes contact there, and you can just see some daylight. So the pad is making progressive contact with the rim from front to back. And that's going to be nice, even braking, and very, very quiet. Do that with all 4 pads, you're set to go.